Welcome to Patriots Corner Live with Dr. Hill Law, your source for unfiltered conservative analysis. We're here to dissect this week's biggest stories in politics and the economy, all from a grounded conservative perspective. No spin, just straight talk about what matters to you. We'll delve into the issues shaping our nation, hold our leaders accountable, and discuss and debate the solutions that uphold our core American values. If you are new here, please hit that like button, subscribe, and the ring notification bell so you don't miss future streams. I'd like to thank you for joining us tonight. Alrighty, good. We got that. Up until last night, the 7th day of the LA riots and protesting, really nothing had spread the news in any other major cities was taking up oxygen in the news cycle until around 10 p.m. Central Standard Time last night when it was announced that Israel had launched an attack on Iran and on Iranian military and nuclear enrichment facilities and installations. So, in our political analysis segment, while we will still discuss the situation here in America, we will also devote a significant portion to discussing the successes of the attacks on Iran last night by Israel and the possible consequences that could come from such a large scale attack and how it could affect America overall. You can catch Patriots Corner 3 evenings a week live on YouTube, Rumble, Twitch, and Facebook. And if you can't see it live, you can catch us all the episodes on Spotify, Amazon, and soon iHeartRadio in about an hour after the live is done. Or you can catch them all on our website at patriotscornerwithdrhillaw.com. That is patriotscornerwithdrhillaw.com. Also, please register free with your email on the website, and you will receive an email with the time and date of our next episodes. I'm still working a full-time job in addition to completing my doctoral degree and raising 3 boys, so it's currently challenging to set aside 3 days and exact times to go live every week. So for now, if you're on the mailing list, I will send out email notifications of days and times for each episode. Also, please let me know which of the 3 logos on my website that are your favorite. And if I was to offer t-shirts, hats, and coffee mugs, which of the logos you think you'd be most interested in? Now, your engagement is crucial to the success of Patriots Corner. If you have a question or want to make a statement, please do so using the chat room. I will review the chat rooms at the end of each segment, reading a few live and answering questions from respectful comments that foster intellectual debate. Your participation is what makes this show truly engaging. If I see a comment during this segment that pertains to the current subject or indicates that my point is not necessarily getting conveyed clearly, I will try to take the time and stop and answer it at that time. Your feedback is invaluable in shaping the discussion. And also, don't forget to like, share, follow, and subscribe to keep the conversation going. Now, on for our main content. I was hoping I would be up and going on I was hoping I'd be going on I tried a different way on Rumble, but it didn't quite work. At least I know I'm on YouTube, I'm on Twitch, and I am live on Instagram, so we'll stick with those for now. I guess when I go live Sunday or Monday, I'll try to get that figured out so I can actually make it through this whole session without a single stop. Also, I am also trying something new out for anybody who is watching this on Instagram. Please let me know what it looks like in the vertical format. I just started using Streamlabs, so I'm trying to do it where it's the vertical format for people who are watching on their phones, and then the landscape format for people that are more likely to watch it on their computers or TV. Now, to begin our breaking news segment, last night or early morning, Israel launched an attack on Iran, hitting their top secret nuclear enrichment facilities, ballistic missile manufacturing, military targets, and were able to take out Iran's top military officials and scientists in a strategic multi-year planned attack, including embedding spies at the highest levels of Iranian intelligence and government. Israel announced that Mossad agents had embedded themselves within the highest parts of the Iranian government and established a drone base inside of Iran. Some of the Mossad agents were even trained as commando fighters to carry out mission critical operations. According to Israel, they eliminated vast areas of Iranian surface to surface missile and surface to air missile infrastructure, a massive number of senior scientists, and large portions of their air defense systems. Now, as the Mossad agents inside Iran used the drone base and other missiles, they hid inside Iran to take out their defenses. The Israeli Air Force launched attacks on Iran's primary uranium enrichment facility at Natanz. Also, the Mossad agents were able to use the attacks as cover to take out all of Iran's senior Air Force commanders at one time because they were all in the same room together during a training exercise trying to show deterrence from Israel. Now, according to Israel, the reason they launched the attack last night was because Iran was only days away from having enough enriched uranium to have a nuclear weapon. That would have put them in mortal danger, considering that Iran has let it be known that their goal is to wipe Israel off the face of the earth, and then the big Satan America. Now, according to a Fox News report, Nadiv Eyal, an Israeli journalist, said what was done here was much more than the James Bond kind of type of pagers operation. It's more about the infrastructure intelligence needed to read devastating strikes on military installations and the integrity of its intelligence services, electronic surveillance things that it's been developing for many years now. The Mossad's infiltration campaign involved the quiet smuggling of sophisticated weaponry into Iran, hidden inside vehicles, embedded near strategic targets in central Iran. Precision-guided weapons were planted near surface-to-air missiles, batteries, and launched on command. Disguised vehicles were also used to destroy Iran's air defense systems at the moment of the strike. Meanwhile, explosive drones positioned near Tehran were activated to destroy long-range missile launchers at the Isfahan base. Israel says that they have proved with this successful attack that if the world was impressed by the Lebanon pagers, the message from this strike is even clearer. Nowhere is out of reach for Israel. Now, per Fox News, senior U.S. officials told that the American forces are assisting Israel in shooting down Iranian missiles. There are hundreds of thousands of American citizens and other American assets in Israel, and the U.S. is working to protect them. Also, as I was preparing for this episode, Fox News broke the story that as Iran launches a retaliatory strike on Israel, shooting a barrage of missiles at Tel Aviv, while Israel kept their attacks and strikes on military infrastructure, Iran is launching rockets into civilian-populated areas. One missile did get through the protections in Israel's second largest city, Tel Aviv, and they have been reported deaths and injuries. And then also another thing that's not in here, as I was literally about to come on, there was a third barrage of attacks launched by Iran, and they hit what is equal to Israel's Pentagon, pretty much. And it's still not out if there was anybody in there, how bad the injuries were, how bad the damage was, anything like that. Now, Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz issued a sharp warning to Iran following its large-scale ballistic missile assault on Israeli cities, declaring that Tehran had crossed red lines. Injuries have been reported from one of the two sites, and now deaths were hit from missiles that made it through the Israeli defenses. Also, pretty much President Trump has also now came out and said that if Iran hits or kills any American citizens, he will have to retaliate. As long as they stay away from anything with American citizens in it and they stick to mainly Israeli military defenses and military attacks, then we won't get into it. We'll stay out of it. We'll just help Israel defend from the barrage of it, just help them defend themselves from the weapons coming in. We won't launch any attacks or actually get into the war. But if they take out kill American citizens, we will have to retaliate. And from what a bunch of very well-known people and people who are very high up in the military and every industry and in foreign affairs have said that right now Iran cannot stand up to an American military. If they have to go to war with us, it would be the end of the Iranian regime that I told us. It'd be the end of their 40-year regime, which obviously we don't want to do regime change, but it wouldn't be that bad either. Now, in other breaking news, as an investigation is underway to figure out who is financing the protests turned riots in LA and other major U.S. cities, police say that A company named Crowds On Demand, based in California, has stated that they have received numerous high budget requests to get involved with the anti ICE riots in Los Angeles and other cities, but have declined to participate. Now, according to a company spokesperson, in a Fox News article, they did not want to get involved because they don't want to be associated with any illegal activities such as violence, vandalism, or blocking roads without a permit. U.S. Customs and Border Protection said anyone found to be abusing the law will be held accountable. Now, also, Senator Josh Hawley, the chairman of the Judiciary Subcommittee on Crime and Terrorism, shared that the committee is sending letters to multiple organizations believed to be behind the funding, according to Hagstorm, a Fox News digital contributor. Now, as we come to the end of our breaking news segment, I would like to remind you to please like, comment, follow, or hit the subscribe button so you won't miss future episodes. Also, I will now take any questions and reply to a few comments before starting the next segment. Don't forget to check out Patriots Corner with drhilllaw.com. That is Patriots Corner with drhilllaw.com. Also, you can sign up for free to access our weekly blog, receive notifications about our next live show, and hit the subscribe button, which takes you to our locals community. There you can support the show, gain access to extra content, and participate in one-on-one discussions. Alrighty, let me do that. See if I got I got live chat all stuff visible. All right. Right now it's just showing Twitch, YouTube, and then I've got my Instagram live because I could not get Facebook or Rumble to go live for some reason. So I guess after today I will do like I did last time and just re-upload it to Rumble as I'm uploading it to Spotify and Amazon. All right, don't have anybody in there. Don't see any notes on the on the YouTube side, so let's go ahead and get on to the main content, which is my political commentary section. Now, and the reason why I kind of do it this way is a lot of times the stuff I cover in the breaking news segment gets then I comment and expand on in the political commentary section, so it makes no sense to do the breaking news segment second. Now, in the past week, we've witnessed anti-ICE protests spiral into riots, chaos, widespread looting, destruction of private property, assaults on police officers and federal officials, and even the incineration of vehicles and burning down of entire buildings. I mean, it's getting ridiculous. It's astonishing how quickly some Americans seem to forget history. If you observe the current outrage, you might think President Trump is the first leader to enforce federal immigration laws, which such determination. The reality is that Democrat presidents like Bill Clinton and Barack Obama enforced immigration laws very similar to Trump, often expressing concerns about illegal immigrants' impact on our nation. Obama, during his campaign for his first 4 years, criticized President Bush for being too lenient on immigration and alleging that he allowed illegal immigrants to remain in the country to provide cheaper labor for his friends that own businesses. Obama, during his presidency, made it clear if you entered this country illegally, you would face deportation back to your homeland. So why is it acceptable when two separate Democrat presidents enact and voice their same policies as President Trump without facing any major backlash or calls to abolish ICE? Yet when Trump does precisely the same, it's suddenly labeled as un-American or evidence of a desire to be a dictator. The Democratic response to Trump's enforcement of immigration laws is telling. It reveals a priority on political power and a deep-seated animosity towards Trump rather than a genuine commitment to the rule of law or the well-being of the American people. We have even now started to hear about these protests spreading to other major cities and other states, including Texas. The gravest error they could make would be to confuse the exercise of free speech and the right to assembly with the chaotic eruption of riots, violence, vandalism, and looting. I challenge the protesters in Dallas, Texas to attempt the same tactics they employed in California. Governor Greg Abbott has already taken decisive action and deployed over 5,000 National Guard personnel across Texas, determining to preempt any outbreak of violence. But should, against all odds, unrest occur, those instigators will quickly understand what it means to navigate a stand your ground state. Because in Texas, once night falls, specifically from 30 minutes after sundown till 30 minutes before sunrise, individuals are entitled to use lethal force in self-defense under a broad array of circumstances. All it takes is a convince in a grand jury that they were genuinely afraid for their safety or the safety of others, as well as the potential for irreparable harm to their property. That's all. In a stark contrast, residents of Democratic-run states, such as California, face a very different reality. Their property owners and citizens are often required to retreat from threatening situations. Only when retreat is impossible can they then resort to deadly force or self-defense. This is a far cry from the laws in Texas, Florida, and other Republican states where the obligation to retreat is minimal, and during the day, the threshold's a little higher for employing deadly force, but still hinges on proving the direct threat of equal violence. So during the day, you might have a little more of a fight, but at nighttime, okay, when I took my concealed carry permit license before they got rid of the need for a concealed carry license, pretty much the police officer that was doing my class told me you can literally shoot somebody for toilet paper in your yard. At nighttime, you can shoot somebody for a misdemeanor. Literally. Now, obviously, that's on the far reaches. If you did that, somebody, you'd probably go to jail, but it's just a little exaggeration to show you how broad the law is as far as at nighttime, the use of deadly force to protect one's property or oneself favors the person that's protecting, not the attacker. Now, obviously, you wouldn't want to, if you just shoot the attacker and you don't kill them, which this is why cops are always taught to shoot center mass, is because dead man don't tell no tales and dead men don't sue. Where if you only injure them, then they can sue, and then it's their word against your word. Where if they're not there to tell anything, it's your word against the evidence. And as long as your evidence matches with the story, there's not much they can't give their intent to it. But yeah, I mean, so I would love to see them try that here in Texas because it's not going to turn out very well. Now, moreover, as reports emerge about the obscure funding that fuels and arms these rioters, it is my hope that with the current power structure in place, we will finally witness a genuine crackdown for those responsible for inciting violence and funding acts of terror will face charges and convictions and hopefully imprisonment for their actions. Because there's a difference between supporting free speech and going past the line of free speech into rioting and violence. Now, while I know it's hard to believe anything will come of Josh Hawley's investigations, I also think it is one of the reasons that President Trump picked so many Washington outsiders to serve in his cabinet, because he knows that they won't be afraid to take action and do what needs to be done. And also, power brokers don't have their hooks in them yet. They aren't controlled by the power brokers. Now, in a dramatic turn of events, Senator Alex Padilla found himself forcibly removed and arrested after he audaciously interrupted a live press conference led by the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem. And rather than adhering to the decorum expected of a senator, Padilla chose to disrupt the proceedings, seemingly forgetting that there were more appropriate avenues for inquiry, such as calling her directly or posing questions during a formal Senate hearing, considering he is literally on the Senate committee over Department of Homeland Security. He could have got and asked her questions so many other ways. This was a organized stunt. It's disheartening to witness a sitting senator disregard the basic principles of respect and protocol that govern interactions with high-ranking officials. One would expect a member of Congress to understand the limitations of social decorum, particularly during a carefully orchestrated live event. It's not like she was giving questions or she was just speaking from a crowd. She was live on TV. I listened to him walk in and start yelling. I mean, even seasoned journalists are trained to refrain from shouting out questions or interjecting during a speech, recognizing that disrupting a prepared address undermines the integrity of the communication. Padilla's acts not only breached this understanding, but also raised questions about the professionalism expected from those in elective office. And so, I mean, for him to sit there and all these left to be coming out and go, oh, it's just horrible. I'm crying because Padilla got arrested or he got manhandled. He got what he deserved. He was a nobody senator that I'd have never even heard of. I mean, I hadn't heard of him. I mean, he did take the place of Kamala Harris, but I still hadn't heard about him. I mean, I know the other senator in California, but him I had no idea of. He was a nobody who's trying to become somebody. This was a stunt to get on the media circuit, to become a darling of the far left, to be recognized by AOC and the squad. It had nothing to do with actual stuff going on. That is the truth. He didn't want to do anything like that. So that's all he was doing. I mean, he's literally just, it's ridiculous. It's all fake. It's fake outrage, false outrage. Because anybody, if he had been given a speech and somebody, whether it was a senator or not, had walked into the room, lunged at him, or made a lunge towards him at the podium, you can guarantee that his security personnel would have removed the person, no matter who they are. Just like they remove people whenever they do that and they're speaking in Congress. So, I mean, it's ridiculous that they think that we believe. So now let's get on to the topic that's on everyone's mind today: Israel's attack on Iran. I had a feeling it was coming sooner than most thought. As I'm an Army veteran, I knew that the only reason they would have started evacuating military personnel, family, and non-essential personnel at the American embassies was that they knew something was coming soon. It was not an easy undertaking or cheap to do that. As for the actions that were taken yesterday, I understand, and part of me says it's about time, while the other part of me is terrified that this could be the spark that starts World War III, especially if any retaliatory attacks from Iran on Israel kill American citizens or military personnel, or if Russia was to decide to insert itself and help its ally, Iran. If Vice President Biden and then President Biden hadn't pushed so hard for the so-called nuclear agreement, did not have enough protections to verify that Iran wasn't still enriching atomic material, we wouldn't be in the position we are today. If Israel's intelligence was correct and Iran was only 3 days away from having a nuclear weapon, then waiting any longer could have meant Iran being wiped off the face of the earth by Israel. So they had no choice but to act. Also, the last thing the world needs is a terrorist regime having weapons grade nuclear material when it wouldn't take much for them to sell it to another adversary of the United States that does have the ballistic capabilities to reach the United States or the East Coast of the United States. While I don't believe the United States should put boots on the ground to help Israel fight them, I do think we can provide them with enough protection in ensuring that we shoot all ballistic missiles or the majority of the ballistic missiles down before they hit their targets in Israel, so that Israel can concentrate on hitting Iran on the ground and in the air. Also, Israel proved that they are not to be messed with after the last 2 major covert attacks they pulled off over the last couple years were literally from a movie. I mean, it's astonishing to consider the level of infiltration Mossad has achieved within the upper echelons of the Iranian government, a regime known for its tight grip on information and surveillance. The precision of their strategic operations, which successfully eliminated high-value targets in their sleep while avoiding civilian casualties, is nothing short of remarkable. I mean, they flew these drones right by the side of the person's bed where he was sleeping, blew it up just enough to damage that one room and maybe the wall, but not enough to damage the whole building, not enough to take anybody out. It was literally strategically enough to not have any collateral damage. It's insane the precision that they were able to meet. And that's not easy. So they've proven they are not to be messed with, especially when it comes to foreign and stuff like this. Now, in contrast, Iran's retaliatory measures are reckless and indiscriminate. They are launching barrages at Israel that result in the destruction of civilian apartment buildings and the tragic loss of innocent lives. This behavior underscores Iran's radical and unhinged nature. Such retaliations are unacceptable. If they were targeting Israeli military installations, that would be one thing. But instead, they are just targeting anything. I mean, obviously now they had targeted what's equal to the Pentagon, but still. So we must hope that no American citizens are harmed in this conflict, for if that were to happen, President Trump would be compelled to respond forcefully. What troubles me is the realization that if Israel can penetrate a police state like Iran, it raises the frightening possibility that adversaries like China or Russia could similarly infiltrate the United States, especially given the porous state of our borders over the past 4 years and the current divisiveness within our nation and how divided we are politically, socially, everything. It really, it's like, whoa. Now, we cannot allow foreign adversaries to exploit our divisiveness and leave us vulnerable to international threats. Consider the protests we've seen in the past 2 years that rally behind Hamas in Palestine, entities that are essentially extensions of Iranian regime and funding. Alarmingly, we are witnessing attacks on Jewish American citizens as if they were indistinguishable from the actions of the Israeli government. This tide must be turned for the safety and unity of our nation. Depends on it. I mean, it is insane to think that we have all of these, to think that we haven't been infiltrated, or that Iran is not literally trying to sow division and is not one of the groups funding through proxies and stuff that are funding these anti-Israeli, anti-Jewish protest, pro-Hamas, pro-Palestinian protest. Literally protesting for a terrorist organization and protesting in favor of a terrorist organization. It is ridiculous that we even have to talk about this, or that we even have to worry about this. I mean, it's insane. And especially if you're a religious person, or if you're a Christian or anything, Israel is the holy land. That is the holy city. That is Bethlehem, Jerusalem, everything that's to do with the Bible. Attacking that is, I mean, even the Bible says to protect it. So, I mean, I'm not going to get into the whole Bible and get into Revelations and all that, but still, there's more than one reason to protect them and to stand with them. And everybody's acting like, oh, Jewish people are white. No, they're not. They're not white. They're Middle Eastern. I mean, it's breaking now, right? Just updated. Over 50 Israelis injured, at least one woman dead after Iran fires missiles at Israel. Iran threatens to hit U.S. bases in the Middle East. If they do that, Iran's really lost it. I mean, they really must want to go to war with us if they're sitting there saying that they must be really want to go to war with us if they're sitting there saying they're willing to attack a military base. And that's just stupid, because there's no way they can stand up to us. They attack a U.S. military base. We've already started sending more of our naval ships and everything out there. We've already started sending more submarines and everything out there. If they were to try to attack a base, we would wipe them. I mean, we could wipe their military out in a couple pushes of a button almost. I mean, obviously, we'd have to get some bunker busters in there to really get the deep underground areas that they've built to really protect. But it's insane that they would actually make a threat of attacking the U.S. base. I guess they got just, they've just really lost it. If they're going that far to literally start now threatening the U.S. and U.S. assets, because President Trump already said, come back to the table. I didn't really support this, even though he understands why they did it, and that he's not going to join in the fight unless they attack us. So it's almost like Iran is wanting us to attack them. You would think They didn't. You would think they don't want it, but for some reason they do. Well, it looks like we got another conservative city that has. Oh, that was ours. That was Texas. Austin Police Department of 8 people who were arrested after anti-immigration and customs enforcement agitators turned violent this week. Arrests came amid nationwide unrest that began in Los Angeles on June 7th. So, okay, these were the 8 people that was the reason why Governor Abbott went ahead and deployed the National Guard in the state of Texas. Yeah, there's reported that we have some here up in Dallas the other day. I saw the pictures from it. They were just a couple hundred. It wasn't that big. I mean, it was very little. But it makes no sense to me. You're literally protesting against a federal government company, agency that's working within the federal law that it is. So if you want to protest against anybody, protest to your congressman, congresswoman, your senator, because they are the only ones who can actually change the laws. Yes, we do need comprehensive immigration reform. We need to make it to where there's less reasons for people to come here illegally. We need to make it to where anybody who came here illegally, knowingly themselves, and anything like that are out. And as long as they go out by their own, then they can get a fast track back. But we need to have a better process to getting people approved for citizenship. And then people who were brought here on no fault of their own, meaning children, they should be able to get citizenship. But we can't just give citizenship to everybody. I mean, I know why the Democrats want it. I spoke about this in my last live podcast. That the fact is especially in cities like California, if out of the 20, any estimates are anywhere from 12 million to over 20 million illegal immigrants that got into the United States over the last 4 years. All right. If you look at the last 2 presidential elections, even the last 3, there is less than 1.5 million votes difference, 2 million votes difference, at the most like 3 million votes. So if no more than 5% of the estimated illegal immigrants who are here got amnesty, it would be Democrats winning the national elections for the next 50 years. It would be near impossible for a Republican to win the election. That's literally what they want. They want their new voter base because the American citizens are finally waking up to find out that they're not who they say they are. It's funny, they say they're for the working man. They say us Republicans are the rich people, but yet the average household income or the average individual income for a Democratic Party now is over $500,000 a year. The Republicans is under $100,000 a year. So explain to me how we're the party of the rich and the elite. It's Democrats who are the party of the rich and elite who pretend they are the party of the working man because they want to control you, because they want to keep you down. They don't want you getting up and rising up and feeling like you have the ability and that you can make something yourself. They want to make you think that you need them to take care of you, that you need to believe everything they say, and that's how it goes. So, wake up, people. I've seen some really good videos going out on social media about talking about how Democrats never got rid of the plantation. They just changed the plantation. They went from cotton fields to the social Medicaid, Medicare, Social government funded system. They get people where they think that they can't succeed. Because explain to me this: if us white people have so much privilege, and it's all about privilege, and how can Middle Eastern and even Africans, now African Americans, come over here and become super rich and really successful, but yet blacks, because they've never been to Africa, they're not African Americans, they're Black Americans who have been here for generations, somehow can't do it? It makes no logical sense other than they've got this victim mindset that they have been oppressed and controlled when it's not. They haven't been oppressed. They haven't been controlled. It is literally all in their mind. It's the Democratic Party who wants to control them and make them do that. It's all up to the Democratic Party. So, wake up, people. Hopefully, I have a feeling we're going to be hearing about this war in Iran and Israel for at least a month or so. Well, unless Iran is stupid enough to start attacking U.S. military installations, then it'll be over in a couple days. We'll start dropping Patriot missile systems and Patriot batteries on them like crazy with Hellfire missiles and everything, and there won't be anything left of their military or the Ayatollah Khomeini or whatever, all the Ayatollahs or anything. There'll be none of them left. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, there's not much other big on this weekend. It's really kind of into this attack in Iran, and obviously there's more coming out, slowly leaking about what type of intelligence they had found and what there was and what wasn't, what they destroyed and what they didn't destroy. Obviously, that's going to be leaking in for the next couple days. There's consistent attacks on Israel that keep going. So how much did they really get of the missile batteries and the batteries of Iran versus how much was really hidden underground? And maybe that's why they did those, is now if they can take satellites, they can figure out where the Iranian military went to get all the new batteries to replace the ones they destroyed. So we'll see how that goes. But since I didn't have anybody really in here tonight to in the chat or anything, I'm gonna go ahead and end this. I still went past what I originally had, but we hope you enjoyed tonight's episode, which discussed the current political climate dealing with immigration and the now nationwide riots, along with the breaking news of the Israeli attack on Iran, along with the risk of how much could it grow and if it means possible World War III. Please join us 3 evenings a week. Current times are not set exactly or neither of the days, so please subscribe or follow and sign up on our website at Patriots Corner with drhillaw.com. That is Patriots Corner with drhillaw.com to receive notifications every time we go live. Each episode will be uploaded and available on Rumble, YouTube, and Spotify. Currently, and Amazon, and I'm still waiting to get approved for iHeartRadio within an hour or two